Hi, this is Stanley Bronstein, the founder of SuperChangeYourLife.com. Welcome to another in our ongoing series of interviews titled How One Person Can Change the World. In this series, we're interviewing people who've not only taken action to change their life, but who have then gone on to use their ideas, passion, and energy to change the lives of others. Today we're interviewing Ryan Lockard. Ryan is the head trainer and co-owner of Specialty Athletic Training. He grew up being active and was a three-sport athlete in high school. He went on to play football at Lewis and Clark College. After graduating, he turned his passion for football into a career and played professionally overseas for 3 years. Ryan has worked with children with special needs since 2007 and has over 7,000 hours of one-on-one instruction. He's a certified strength and conditioning specialist and is a board member on the Autism Society of Oregon's Board of Directors. Ryan is also a very active volunteer for the Portland Asperger's Network as the Young Adult Group Facilitator. But rather than go into a lot more detail, it's time to let Ryan tell us more about himself and his current activities. Ryan, welcome to Super Change Your Life. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Stanley. How are you doing?
Doing super. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Can you take the first 5 minutes or so, tell everybody a little bit about your background. Tell us who you are and how you got to be doing what you're doing. It sounds like you've been around athletics your whole life.
Yeah, so I grew up being super active, grew up playing baseball, football, and basketball. Ended up going to college at Lewis and Clark and playing football there. My last year, I actually tore my ACL my senior year in college, and I was able to get a medical red shirt. And so I was able to come back for my fifth year. And it was really then where it really opened my eyes up to the world of autism in general, where I left myself 2 credits short so I could play that fifth year, and I had an independent study. So I had a part-time job working with a 13-year-old boy with autism as his one-on-one aide. And so I ended up going to work, working with him, and then playing football. And then I wrote a paper on autism. And during that experience, I really noticed how the expectations, especially fitness levels, were so much less for him than they were for his peers, and for no real reason. When people warmed up in PE for gym, everyone else would run 4 laps, and the student I was working with only was required to run 2. And the more I worked with him and the more I learned about autism, the more I really just realized it was a sensory issue, and it was, he didn't like to sweat. And it wasn't because he didn't necessarily know, he just didn't know what was going on. When we're sitting here talking, we're just not, normally sweating. And that was something that we had to kind of talk to him about and explain, this is natural. This is what your body does. It's your natural way of cooling yourself off, and this is what happens when you exercise. And so he was able to push through that, and then he was able to verbalize more things as far as, Ryan, my heart feels like it's coming out of my chest, or my legs, they feel weak. And so, once we were able to push through those things and just explain to him this is natural, last summer we went on a 4-mile run around the waterfront downtown Portland, so that's been pretty cool to see his progress.
Wow. Big difference. And I've talked to a couple of people before who've done some work with autistic kids, and what they've expressed to me is it's not a matter of them being unable to do things. It's a matter of getting to them, that they perceive the world differently, and if you can learn or figure out how to communicate with them in the way that they want to be communicated with, it's amazing what you can accomplish. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, absolutely, Stan. Their brains are just wired differently. A lot of times they're very literal thinkers where, I do this one exercise called a prayer crunch, and where essentially you lay on your back and you put your hands together and you point them up to the roof and you kind of just do a crunch. Typically I'll start out by saying, to my clients, try to touch the ceiling. But a lot of times I'll have some of my clients say, Ryan, that's impossible. There's no way I can touch the ceiling. And you have to automatically switch it to, okay, well, here, I'm going to put my hand right up at this level, try to touch my hand instead, and make it so, where it is very literal for them. I also work with some clients that are nonverbal, but they're very receptive. They understand what's going on around them. They just can't express themselves, and so you have to give them a way to express themselves. And so I use a lot of visual aids. I have a tablet where it has all the exercises on there with video instruction as well as written instruction, and so that they can actually, when I ask them what exercise they want to do, they can point and choose for themselves. And so that's been huge lately.
I would guess tablet computers have really opened up the communication channels for a lot of people who are nonverbal. It's got to be amazing.
No, it's been great, and it's really been great to see their progress as well. And the other thing too is it gives them a choice. You're not forcing them to do things that they don't want to do, and they're able to communicate. And it definitely eases the frustration. Imagine if you weren't able to communicate with everyone, or if you lived in a foreign country and you didn't speak the language, how frustrated you would get. Especially if you didn't have an outlet.
It's time to pull out your smartphone and use Google Translate.
Exactly. So that's kind of been the breakthrough with the tablets.
Yeah, much better. So, how has your work been received? Is there, I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing that there's probably a shortage of people who do the kind of work that you're doing.
There is a shortage. And the nice thing, when I was doing the research, and I had this idea, and I've had this idea since 2007 when I was working with my first client about this whole fitness thing, and I just kept going overseas and playing football, and then after my third year playing, I came back and got engaged. So I was definitely settled more in Portland area, and so that's kind of really when I set off with this idea, and it's been received greatly in the area for sure. But I'm able to tie it. I've always had a great relationship with Lewis and Clark College, being a student and then also now being a football coach there. And so I'm able to use their facilities, and I use it with, I'm able to bring other students in and act as peer mentors with the kids as well, all my clients. And so it's more of my number one goal is to make it fun and make these kids have, fun while they exercise, make fitness a priority for them. A lot of the kids I have low self-esteem, low self-confidence levels, especially when it comes to fitness. A lot of them have processing issues, and with the way the PE classes are growing, a lot of PE classes are going to team sports and stuff like that, where my clients don't succeed in them. And that's the number one thing, is you have to make it fun. You have to make it fun where they're going to succeed. And I always try to make all my activities group activities with the peer mentors, and so. It's not just them. I'm not just telling them what to do, but I'll do exercises with them and demonstrate with them. And so it's been really great. It's been really well received from the community in Portland, but also the college community as well. Where when I first started out, I had to kind of recruit my own peer mentors, where I saw some students that had worked with me in the past, and now it's kind of one of the things where daily students come up to me and ask me how they can get involved.
It's got to be tremendously rewarding. I mean, I know just in my limited experience, there's very near my house. There's they call it the Miracle League, and it's like a baseball league for special needs kids. And there's a field that they built right by my house. And every so often, if I'm walking the dogs at night over there, I'll catch them when they're playing games. And you walk in and you watch these kids. And you see what they're doing. I mean, they're really normal kids who have normal needs, but they're so neglected in our society because while they have the same needs, they're special needs.
Right, and like you said before, they have a lot of my clients, they all have the same interests. They're all kids. They all have a sense of humor. And it's just their brains are wired differently. And once you're able to really communicate with them, it's been a blast.
Do you think there's discrimination in our society? Or do you think it's just a lack of understanding?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think there is definitely that bias and the discrimination, but because of lack of understanding.
So do you have any ideas or thoughts on how we can, increase public awareness on these types of issues?
Well, and that's what I love about the college setting, that I have right now is a lot of the students that I have serve as peer mentors. It definitely serves, them as an outlet to really get exposed and really see that, my clients are just like any other kid. And, they're all fun kids. I love working with all of them. They're all so unique. They all have different interests. They all have different abilities. But at the same time, they all have that same need for fitness. And, I love seeing the effect it has not only on my clients, but also on their peer mentors, and seeing how it really changes the way they feel, or the way that they interact with people on a daily basis, no matter, what kind of stuff's going on in their lives at that time.
That's very interesting. It's kind of like, until I had heard from you about setting up this interview, I wasn't really aware. I guess it makes sense, but I wasn't aware that there were trainers out there who did what you're, kind of what you're doing, and just focus on that. But it makes sense when you think about it. They're instructors of, educational instructors and everything else. So I guess it does make sense. But
the thing too, Stanley, is that they are very limited. There's no, when I was researching, just trainers for individuals with special needs when I first started up, there was a couple people on the East Coast. There's some other places in, Chicago or down in LA, and a lot of those places were just places that were just a gym, like a major gym that also did special needs fitness on the side. It's hard to find anyone, or I didn't find anyone that was specifically only dealing with individuals with special needs. And I'm definitely the only one doing it on a college campus as I'm doing now. Integrating it where I'm doing exactly how I'm doing, where, my ultimate goal is for all my clients to be able to work out independently. I want it to where all my clients, they don't, it'd be great for them to come see me and say hi, but I don't want them to have to rely on coming to see Ryan all the time. I want them to be able to go to any gym, anywhere, and be able to enjoy, good workout, or even learn how to work out, at home or outside of the park, and I try to teach them all those techniques, all the exercises that they can do, and so that they can do that on their own.
What are the typical ages of your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question, Danny. A lot of my clients, when I first started this, there's a lot of therapies and a lot of other stuff going on for kids, especially younger kids, and all those services really drop off around the age 12 to 13 age range, if not slightly before that. And so that was really my target age range to start out with. And since I started, my youngest client has been 5, and my oldest right now is 24. And so I don't really, I believe fitness is necessary for everyone, but you need to customize it for each individual. So of course my little 5-year-old guy is not going to be doing the same stuff that, my 24-year-old client's going to be doing. And even if I have 2 24-year-old clients, and they both do completely different exercises, because you really have to match what their interests are and exercise that they want to do. Obviously that, there's going to be certain days where you want to work a certain muscle group, but it's all about giving that client a choice of what they want to do, and not necessarily forcing exercise upon them. Giving them a choice has really been, really increases their intrinsic motivation, where, they want to start doing stuff, and they want to increase reps, they want to increase sets, and they want to make it harder on themselves, because they're finding that, hey, I can do this. Ryan, this is too easy. We need to make this a little harder, and that's been, the greatest reward.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you find this work personally, do you find it to be very rewarding?
Stanley, lately I've been telling people, ever since I started this business, I don't feel like I work anymore. I get to come. I come to Lewis and Clark. I still coach football, and so I get to work with, my college athletes. And, then the rest of the day we practice in the morning, and then the rest of the day I get to work with my clients. And, I enjoy every aspect of that. And so I really don't feel like I work. I have the best job in the world right now because I don't work. I don't feel like I work. I enjoy every minute of it.
And it's a privilege to get up every day and do what you're doing. See, that's what I like. You've found your true calling when you find something that speaks to you like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's been the great thing where, I'm just trying to, really get that feeling into a lot of the students at Lewis and Clark that serve as peer mentors, and be just showing them, hey, you should be enjoying what you do every day, and also see the enjoyment that you get, that your clients get every day when they come to see you. And really, like I said, it's been crazy and amazing to see the effect that has both on the clients and the peer mentors and everyone else that's involved.
It's fun. Did you know you were going to do something like this your whole life, or did you just kind of stumbled upon it because you were working with that one kid?
I really kind of stumbled upon it. Initially I wanted to be a high school math teacher when I came to college. And then I kind of transitioned to where I wanted to be a special ed teacher. And the more I really dove into the fitness and autism and the special needs, it really all kind of clicked for me. And like I said, when I started doing my research, there was very limited resources, and especially none in the area up here as far as what I'm doing. And it's been great to see the growth ever since.
Is what you're doing something? Do you find this kind of training requires more one-on-one than typical training, and it needs to be customized to each individual?
I think any training should be customized to the individual, and that's a big thing. I don't feel like you can, in order for fitness to be fun for anyone, I think you have to customize it. I don't think you can just put someone through a cookie-cutter system. They may see results, but they're not going to make it a lifestyle. They're not going to stick with it, and they're not going to make healthy decisions every day. And that's really what I'm striving for. So in that regard, I don't feel like I'm doing anything different than what should be done for everyone. I think that whether you have autism or you have Down syndrome or you're neurotypical, I think that you should customize each workout program for each kid and every individual, not just kids and adults. But I think what's that, James?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was finishing up.
Go ahead. Oh, it's interesting that you say that programs should be customized, because I know when I decided to start incorporating a daily walking program into my life, I caught so much grief from every trainer I talked to. They didn't like what I was doing. They all said, you walk too slowly, you need to walk faster, you're spending too much time walking. If you walked faster, you could get it done more quickly. And everybody was criticizing what I was doing. And I had to go through it and just say, no, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. This is what makes me happy. I don't like walking fast. I get sore if I walk fast. I don't enjoy it as much. And walking for long periods of time allows me to think. It allows me to clear my head. It makes me feel much better mentally, spiritually, and physically. And I'm going to do it this way. And you, Mr. or Mrs. Trainer, if you don't like the way I'm doing it, that's too bad. And
right. And I get that with a lot of my clients. I get clients that, they might not want to ride the bike. They might not want to do the treadmill, but they love walking outside. And so we'll walk outside for a warm-up, or we'll walk outside, just to get them going and get them, comfortable, and then we'll start doing other exercises based off of that. I don't feel like you need to be necessarily in the gym to get a great workout. Sometimes I'll have a whole inside routine written up, and my client, it's nice out, and they'll want to go outside. So you have to scrap that workout that you had for the inside workout and create things on the fly. There's a ton of stuff that you can do outside that you're going to get just a great workout, and they're going to enjoy it more because they don't want to be inside. They want to be outside, or vice versa. I've had the same thing happen other ways, where I've had clients that were very sensitive to the sun and the heat, and I thought it was okay to be outside, and they didn't want to be outside. So we had to tear that program up too and go inside and let them choose what they want to do. And that's been the biggest learning experience, is really finding out how to get each kid to be intrinsically motivated to exercise. And that's the biggest thing. Like you said, you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, if you didn't enjoy walking, you're not going to walk every day. If your trainers were making you walk too fast and you enjoy it, you're not going to do that on your own. And that's the same thing I'm trying to do with my clients, to make sure that they do enjoy it, and they are able to do stuff at home, and they are able to do stuff out in their community as well, not just with me.
Do you ever find motivation is a problem, or do you find that once you get these kids interested, they're pretty motivated?
You just got to find the motivation for each kid, and I think that's a great benefit of being at Lewis and Clark. And, we've done everything for, the way I set sessions up is the first 45 minutes, they're all hour sessions, and the first 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes are all training, and the last 10 to 15 are, some kind of preferred activity for my client. And so we've done a variety of things where we went to the basketball gym and we just shot hoops, or we went and there's a ping pong table upstairs that we'll go play ping pong on. Or, sometimes we just go walk around the campus. And, I had one client that was he always had these stuffed animals, and he loved finding high places to drop them off of. And so we walk around campus going cliff hunting, is what we called it. Going cliff hunting after he's done with the workout and dropping off these stuffed animals, off the stairs or off the top of the press box and on the football field, or, any place we could find that he'd want to drop these animals off of. And so that's the other thing that makes it so fun is each client, like I said, is so unique and have their own interests, and that's the part that makes makes it fun every day.
In closing, take a minute or two. Do you have some thoughts or some ideas as to where you would like to see this whole concept of what you're doing go, where you'd like to see it end up? Pull out your crystal ball. What is this going to be like? Yeah, what is this going to be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and on further?
Oh, well, I definitely want to make sure to get my roots grounded right here at Lewis and Clark, and get the program up and running. It is growing, and I want to make sure that it is sustainable up here. But it's definitely something I want to end up, long-term branching out, and I love the college atmosphere. I think the college campus is huge for what I'm doing. You can have kids do fitness, and you can do it at parks, you can do it at home, you can do in-home training, you can do it at gyms, but there's something special about a college campus in itself. A lot of these kids never think that they're going to be able to go to college, or never really have that thought. And, it's been amazing how many kids that I have worked with that all of a sudden, like, oh, I want to go to college, or, Ryan, I want to go to Lewis and Clark. And whether they do or not, whether they go to Lewis and Clark or not, that's not the important thing. But the important thing that they have it in their, in their brain that they want to go to college, and that it is a possibility. And so that's why I really like the college atmosphere. The other thing too is you really it's great. I'm able to provide internships for a lot of the students here, where it's on campus. They're able to come work out with my clients and then go right back to class. So it's very convenient for them, and it's great for me as well and my clients. And it definitely makes more of a campus community, where we'll do stuff with the basketball teams, and we'll do stuff with the volleyball team and the football teams and stuff like that, where we'll have we have a volleyball event coming up where a couple of my clients are going to be like the ball girls for them, which is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. But that's all that stuff's coming from the Lewis and Clark community. Everyone loves what's going on, and we'll have some of my clients come to the games and watch the games and watch their peer mentors play. And so that's the biggest thing, the biggest reason why I see it going, not just to gym, not to just in-home training, but really try and spread across the different college campuses across the nation.
Well, it seems to me like you not only hit upon something that you want to do and you enjoy doing, you landed in an excellent environment for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I can't imagine a better environment for what I'm doing anywhere.
Well, I'm glad you found it, and it's a very good thing. And I'm sure the community appreciates you very much, because I know it's a need. It's definitely there, but it's kind of a silent need. A lot of times, the only people who know that there's a need are parents of special needs kids.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I guess more attention needs to be brought to the issue, and I'm glad you're working on that, and it's appreciated. Well, this has been a pleasure, and it's been very informative, and it's been very good, and I think you're doing great work. Keep it up.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Stanley, and thanks for having me again.
You're quite welcome.